If you sell software systems, you know software demonstrations can make or break the sale. In this video, I'll share the top 5 things I do to prepare for a software demonstration. Now, whether they're in your top 5, these are steps I think are critical to making sure you connect with your audience. I'll give you detail on each step and why I think they're so important. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Bob Bundy, President of Rokay Services Group, and I've conducted and watched hundreds of different software demos. In this video series, I give you concrete tips and strategies that you can use right away to improve your demos and hopefully close more sales. Right now, I'm going to share my top 5 tips for preparing for a software demonstration. I work on each of these with my customers, and now I'm sharing them with you. You should never go into a serious demonstration of your system without some serious preparation. You run a risk of blowing a great sales opportunity, and you work too hard to get to the demo phase to blow it by not preparing. It's amazing to watch a demonstration where the demo specialist has truly prepared for the event. You see people in the audience nodding, sitting on the edge of their seats, and eager to ask questions, all fabulous signals that they're interested in what they're seeing. It's not just luck or a receptive audience, it's hard work put in up front by the demo specialist that ensures the audience is hearing what they need. So, let's go. You know, I thought about doing a countdown, putting my number 1 tip at the end of the video, but it's just too important to wait. My number 1 tip is finding out who's in the room. I want to know who's going to be there, and I want to know before I get there. I want their names, and I want their titles. Now, why is this so important? Every demo specialist knows the standard route through their software, but you never want to take the standard route. You want to take the route that really hits home with your audience. In one of our other software demo videos, I talk about a scenario-based demonstration. If I don't know who's in my audience, I don't know what scenarios to prepare. I could show the audience all of my fantastic financial reports, but if the audience is filled with teachers, those snazzy reports don't mean anything, and I'm going to lose the audience right away. Sometimes you can't get the names of who's going to be there. If I can't get the names ahead of time, I at least want the titles. I can prepare scenarios for the audience if I know their titles. And just to make sure I'm on the same page as the audience, I'm going to ask them right at the beginning of the demo what the most important things are to them and why they're important. My second tip for demo preparation is to establish the strategy for the demo. Now, this might be a new topic for some demo specialists watching, but I bet you already do this in some way. Let me give you a couple of examples of setting the strategy. I was presenting a second demo for an organization. 5 of the 7 people in the room had already seen a pretty exhaustive demo of the software, and they were ready to go with our solution. But one of the 2 who hadn't seen it yet was the CFO. And her real hot buttons included compliance and management reporting. I knew that from my research, and I confirmed it at the beginning of the demo when I asked what was important. She told me that compliance was the most important thing to her. Now, I did touch on some of the functionality that the others had seen in the previous demo, just to give an overall feeling for the software. But throughout the demo, my focus was on legal compliance. I also deliberately checked in with the CFO throughout the demo to make sure I was addressing her concerns. In a different demo, I would have checked in with everybody in the room, but for this demo, I really had an audience of 1. Not 7. Here's another example. A few years ago, our software system was one of 3 finalists for a large organization. The last step in the process was a demonstration to their board, and we only had 45 minutes. Now, there was no way we could present all of our functionality in 45 minutes. But even if we could, the board doesn't want to see functionality. Nobody on the board will use the system. So my strategy was to spend as little time as possible inside the software and only use it to illustrate specific points. I concentrated on the areas that board members would really care about. Things like long-term partnership with their vendor, getting the software system in quickly and running so they could start taking advantage of their investment, and protecting their investment long term. One of the areas that I emphasized was ease of use. I used that as a lead-in to talk about training. After presenting that concept, I hopped into the software and showed them how a user could perform a standard transaction in 10 seconds, and then I immediately logged out. My question to the board was, how much training do you think it would take for your staff to learn how to do that? Immediately from the back of the room, one of the board members said, Bob, I think I could do it after seeing you do it that one time. Now that definitely validated the strategy of spending less than 5 minutes out of the 45 in the software. And when we got the final score sheets, we saw we crushed our competition in that board presentation, all by giving a very minimal demonstration. Here's my third tip. Determine the key messages for your demonstration. Do you want to focus on ease of use? How about how configurable your software is? Or should you emphasize the fabulous reporting functionality? Now, whenever I ask demo specialists about that question, they sometimes say, yep, I want to emphasize everything. Well, unfortunately, you really can't emphasize everything all the way through the demo. Not everything is equally as critical or as important as everything else. And in some cases, your software system may have weaknesses that you'd rather not emphasize. So, determine up front what key messages you'll focus on throughout the demo, and be sure to find ways to reinforce those messages as you go, hammering those points home to the audience. You know, when the audience is debriefing after you leave, you want everybody in that room to be crystal clear what your key messages were. My fourth tip is to set up your software system specifically for this customer. Every demo specialist has their demonstration data set, and for a lot of what you show, it might be okay. But remember, the audience is thinking about their everyday life, and their everyday life revolves around their organization, not your demo data set. If your software can be tailored with the prospect's logo, import the logo. If they have multiple facilities or locations, enter those into your system and use them during the demo. If you're showing an accounting system and your prospect's fiscal year ends on November 30th, be sure to use that in your demonstration. If you're showing an employee screen in a human resources software package and you find a picture of the prospect's president on their website, use the president's picture in your demo. A few years ago, I was presenting a software package to an organization. On their website was a page about an audit they had gone through the year before and changes they were implementing throughout their organization. You'd better believe I configured my software to match the changes they were making as a result of their audit. Here's a bonus tip. Now, this is not tip number 5, but it does go along with number 4. If I've seen 500 software demos over the years, I've seen this happen 400 times. It's when a demo specialist puts innocuous text into a text field just to show that text goes there. If the goal of the demonstration is to help the audience imagine how they'll use the system, then make it easy for them to imagine that. If you're writing an employee disciplinary report in an HR system, don't write the words "description goes here" in the description field, enter a real disciplinary action. If you're adding a vendor to an invoicing system, don't type the words "vendor name" in the name field, enter a real company name. And for crying out loud, don't just bang on the keyboard to get random characters in a text field. Take some pride in your work and make it easy for the audience to understand the system. Here's my last critical tip for preparing for a demo. Practice, practice, practice. There's no substitute for practicing your demo. And I don't mean just practicing periodically to stay sharp. I mean practicing before every demonstration. You need to practice your key messages. You need to practice the scenarios you've set up. If you've configured the system to match your prospect's world, you need to practice and make sure your setup works correctly. You need to practice the entire demo all the way through. Identify problems before the demo, because if you have a problem during the demonstration, you might lose the sale. I've required every sales rep I've ever managed to practice their presentations, and that includes the demo specialists. Now, I was watching a demo recently. During the course of the demo specialist mentioned she had done another demo earlier in the day. About halfway through the demo, every demo specialist's worst nightmare happened. The software had an error and it blew up. Now, it's frustrating, it's embarrassing, and it probably costs you the sale. But every demo specialist knows that it does happen. Unfortunately, what this demo specialist said ensured that they were going to lose the sale. She said, "That is so frustrating. The same error happened in the same place in this morning's demo." Now, I'm not sure which message was worse, that the software had errors or that the people at the software company were too lazy to investigate and fix the problem. A software demonstration is a sales presentation, and if you've been in sales for any length of time, you probably recognize most of these top 5 tips as something you should do in any sales presentation. You want to appear confident, prepared, and professional. Even though this is number 5 on my list of tips, it's no less important than any of the other 4. Well, there it is, my top 5 list of how to prepare for a software demonstration. Now, I'm turning it over to you. I would love to hear your comments. Do you deliberately establish a strategy for every demonstration? Do you practice every demo all the way through before you conduct it? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below this video, and let's start a dialogue. Did you like this video? If so, please be sure to hit the like button below and also subscribe to my channel and watch all of my sales-related videos, including the others in this software demonstration series. If you want us to notify you whenever we publish new content for salespeople, head over to the website and tell us your email address. We only use it to let you know when new content is available. Ready? So let's go. Let's go. You think I get my name right? You know, there was no bowl of M&Ms in my dressing room. Keep watching. Right now I'm going to share my top 5. Keep watching. You think that's really what I should say? How many times am I going to get this wrong? 5. 5 tips. Keep watching. Actually, there was no dressing room.